Welcome back to Kringle's Christmas Stories, brought to you by KringlesChristmas.com, home of Comet's Choice premium reindeer food. Reindeers tested, Santa approved. Now, let's jump right back into Chapter 4 of A Day in the Life of Santa's Reindeer, the Great Sleigh Rescue. The reindeer stood in tense silence as Santa carefully sealed the propulsion chamber, his gloved hands steady despite the cold. The glow of the combined stardust and Comet's Choice mixture shimmered faintly within, its light pulsing like the slow beat of a heart. The forest was quiet around them, save for the occasional creak of the trees under the weight of snow. "Do you think it'll work?" Vixen asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "It has to," Blitzen said firmly. He glanced at Santa, who stepped back from the sleigh with a satisfied nod. "All done," Santa said, dusting off his hands. "Now let's see if this old sleigh still has some magic left in her." The reindeer exchanged determined looks, their breath steaming in the cold air. This wasn't just about fixing the sleigh. It was about proving that no matter what obstacles stood in their way, they could still make Christmas happen. "All right, team," Blitzen called, his voice ringing through the clearing. "To your positions." The reindeer moved with practiced precision, each of them stepping into place along the harness line. Dasher and Blixen took the lead, their hooves crunching against the snow as they settled into position. Prancer and Vixen followed, their antlers brushing lightly against one another as they adjusted their stances. Comet, Cupid, Donner, and Rudolph rounded out the formation, their heads held high. Santa climbed aboard the sleigh, settling into the plush red seat with a grin. "You've got this team," he said, his voice brimming with pride. "Ready?" Blitzen asked, glancing back at his team. "Ready," the others replied in unison. Santa gave the reins a light shake, his voice booming. "On Dasher, on Dancer, on Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, Cupid, Donner, and Rudolph." With a mighty leap, the reindeer launched into the air. Their hooves kicked up clouds of snow as they propelled the sleigh forward, the runners gliding smoothly across the frozen ground before lifting into the sky. For a moment, everything felt uncertain. The sleigh wobbled slightly, its movements hesitant, as the propulsion system hummed softly. But then, with a surge of light, the mixture inside the chamber ignited, sending a warm golden glow cascading through the sleigh. "We've got liftoff!" Dasher shouted, his voice full of excitement. The sleigh steadied, and the reindeer moved in perfect unison, their hooves slicing through the air as they soared higher and faster. Below them, the forest grew smaller and smaller, its snowy expanse disappearing beneath a sea of clouds. As they climbed higher, the reindeer noticed something extraordinary. Dotted across the landscape below were tiny glimmers of light, each one flickering faintly against the dark earth. "It's the Comet's Choice," Rudolph said, his nose glowing brighter as he pointed with a nod of his head. "The kids who sprinkled it must have known we'd need help." Blitzen's heart swelled with pride. Each sparkle was a child's belief, a beacon of hope shining through the night. The grains of magical food scattered across lawns and rooftops around the world had always been a guide for the sleigh on Christmas Eve. Now those same lights were guiding them home. The reindeer flew in synchronized strides, the sleigh gliding effortlessly behind them. The propulsion system hummed steadily, its glow blending with the light of the aurora above. Santa leaned forward in his seat, a broad smile spreading across his face. "You've done it, team," he called. "We're heading home." The North Pole came into view, its golden lights twinkling against the endless expanse of snow. The elves, who had been anxiously awaiting the team's return, erupted into cheers as the sleigh descended smoothly onto the runway. "They're back!" Jolly Jingle shouted, waving his arms as he ran toward the sleigh. The reindeer landed gracefully, their hooves striking the ground in perfect rhythm as they slowed to a halt. Santa climbed down from the sleigh, his boots crunching against the snow as he approached the team. "You did it," he said, his voice warm with gratitude. "Not just for me, but for Christmas. You proved that the magic of the season is stronger than any obstacle." Blitzen stepped forward, his chest puffed out with pride. "It wasn't just us," he said. "The kids who believe in us, the Comet's Choice, and even a few woodland friends. They all made this possible." The elves swarmed around the sleigh, inspecting the repairs and cheering at the sight of the glowing propulsion system. Tinker Twinkle gave an approving nod as he examined the runners. "Looks like it held up just fine," he said, clapping Santa on the back. That night, the reindeer gathered in the barn, their bodies tired but their spirits soaring. Each of them was enjoying a special serving of Comet's Choice, the magical grains glimmering faintly in their troughs. "You know," Prancer said, her voice soft, "I always thought Comet's Choice was just food. But it's so much more than that, isn't it?" "It's belief," Comet replied, his voice thoughtful. "Every sprinkle, every glow is a child's faith in what we do. It's the light that guides us home, and the light that makes Christmas possible." Blitzen nodded, his antlers catching the glow of the barn's lanterns. "And it's why we do what we do. For every child who looks to the sky on Christmas Eve will keep flying." Rudolph's nose blinked faintly as he smiled. It's more than flying. It's keeping the magic alive. The barn fell quiet as the reindeer rested, their hearts full of pride. Outside, the aurora danced across the sky, its colors blending with the faint flicker of Comet's Choice still scattered across the snowy fields. And as Santa prepared for the most important night of the year, he knew one thing for certain. His team was ready. What a wonderful story. So much heart, so much Christmas spirit. I don't know about you, but I'm ready for Christmas. I am so ready for Christmas. Maybe we should take a short break and then come back and discuss this chapter a bit more. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
All right, we'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsor. Okay, we're back.
That was a lovely story, wasn't it?
It really was.
The Great Sleigh Rescue indeed.
Right?
Quite the adventure.
So what did you think of it?
Well, I thought it was very cleverly done how they incorporated the Comet's Choice into the plot. It wasn't just a random element.
It was really tied in.
It was integral.
Yeah, and it also kind of highlighted the theme of belief. Right.
Exactly. It's like those sprinkles of Comet's Choice are more than just reindeer food.
Yeah.
They represent the children's belief in Santa and Christmas.
And the fact that their belief can actually have a tangible effect.
Right. It's almost like magic.
It is
The
magic.
Christmas magic.
I also loved how the story showed the reindeer working together as a team.
Oh, absolutely.
They all had their own strengths and weaknesses,
Yeah.
but they came together to overcome the obstacle.
It was a real team effort.
Exactly. And it reminds us that even in real life, we can achieve great things when we work together.
Absolutely.
So overall, I think this is a really heartwarming and inspiring story.
I agree.
It's a great reminder of the true meaning of Christmas.
And the importance of believing in something.
Well, that about wraps up our deep dive into Chapter 4 of A Day in the Life of Santa's Reindeer, The Great Sleigh Rescue.
What a delightful tale.
Thanks for joining us.
Merry Christmas.
And remember to get your Comet's Choice reindeer food at cometschoice.com. Thanks for dropping by Kringle's Christmas Stories, and have a very Merry Christmas.